Saturday night in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and the Hogs are confidently rolling into Razorback Stadium, riding a 4-game win streak while lighting up the scoreboard. Tonight, preventing points is their top priority as they face Mississippi State's Dak Prescott, who accounts for more than 70% of the Bulldog offense. Tonight from Fayetteville, Arkansas, it's Mississippi State against the Razorbacks. It's an unusually cold November night in northwestern Arkansas, one you might more expect to find in the Big Ten than the SEC. But no matter how you cut it, it's football weather on a Saturday night. And here come the Hogs. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick, Ed Cunningham. It's great to have you with us. Dr. Jerry Punch will join us shortly. The way the season started for Arkansas, it looked like the whole year might be a bust. But boy, have they turned it around. Now they're playing great football.
And a lot of people around the country laughing at Brett Bielema sitting at 1-3, thinking, what in the world's going on down there? Well, they lost their top 3 wide receivers and 2 of their top running backs in the first few weeks of the season. So it took them a while to figure things out. Well, now that they flipped the script completely. And it helps when you have a running back coming into the peak of his career like they do in Alex Collins. Arkansas had 2,000-yard rushers coming back. Jonathan Williams got hurt before the season, but Collins has really burst on the scene with great balance, very good vision. He's an incredibly patient runner, but once he chooses his hole, he has incredible injury and feet chop. He gets through it quickly. Here, a wonderful job once again against LSU last week, pausing behind that big offensive line, squeezes through for a big touchdown run in a game that was very lopsided. It's amazing what's happened to LSU, but Arkansas looked great in that game last week.
You know, if Mississippi State had a better record overall, Dak Prescott would be a huge part of the Heisman conversation. But now you can forget about the trophy and just remember what an exceptional athlete the kid is.
And, you know, for Dan Mullen, the things that he's been able to do with quarterbacks throughout his career, and to take this guy who really is built like a running back at 6'2", 230, and a lot of guys who try to tackle him say he feels like a power running back when you try to tackle him. But the pocket passing growth for Dak Prescott in his senior year has been tremendous. And that really has been the big difference for him as a quarterback, settling in to be able to throw the ball from the pocket.
All right, thanks, Ed. And for more on tonight's matchup, Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thanks, Mike, and hello, everybody. Folks, the last 2 times these teams played, it was a nail-biter going right down to the wire. 2 years ago in Little Rock, Arkansas, it was Trevez Calhoun who picked off a Brandon Allen pass in overtime to preserve the 24-17 victory for the Bulldogs. Then last year in Starkville, Will Redmond made the game-saving interception off of Allen at the goal line for a 17-10 Mississippi State win. Mississippi State has won the last 3 in a row in this series. But get this, folks, they have never beaten the Razorbacks here in Fayetteville. So buckle up. This one tonight should be fun to watch. Mike.
Thank you, Doc. Devin Bell to kick to Ryder Lucas and Dominique Reed. Five yards deep. And they'll move it out to the 25. Let's take a look at Brandon Allen, the senior quarterback, who's starting his 32nd straight game. That's the longest quarterback streak at Arkansas since they joined the SEC in '92. This season, he has thrown 22 touchdown passes, the most in the season. And on his career, he has 56. That's 3rd most in school history.
Nice to see him finish out his senior year playing well. He struggled earlier in the year. I mentioned at the Open all the injuries that Arkansas had. His top 3 receivers all out at one time, and it was brutal around here. He was getting all kinds of nasty messages and things said, but nice to see him settle in this offense, find a bit of a rhythm.
Alex Collins, the play fake to him. Big rush from the Mississippi State front wall. They go to Drew Morgan at the sideline. Makes the first catch of the night.
Morgan, a guy who had to step up. He was one of probably the 4th receiver in the rotation at the start of the season. But when Keon Hatcher went down and Jared Cornelius and Cody Hollister, 2 guys who are now back. But Morgan had to step up, and he's done a nice job since those guys have been out.
Collins riding the crest of 8 100-yard games this year, the most in the Southeastern Conference. Quick pass to the outside. Morgan breaks the tackle, gets out close to the 35-yard line. Tevez Calhoun, the senior captain at the corner, forced him out of bounds.
Terrific block on the edge there by Dominic Reed, another guy who has had to step up. He was a junior college transfer, didn't get here until June. Took him a while to get the playbook down, but I mentioned the guys who were injured. He was the 5th or 6th receiver in the rotation, but he has exploded. He's from here in Arkansas, went to junior college, came back, had a great game against LSU, a big run after a catch, and he stepped up nicely.
And he was the biggest JUCO receiver in the country last year. Brett Bielema doesn't want to be known as a junior college program, but he can recognize talent when he sees it.
Brett Bielema, of course, coming from Wisconsin, when he felt like his assistant coaches weren't being paid competitively. He felt like he could come here and build a program, and it took a while to get off the schneid in the SEC to get that win. But once they got it last year, they became what looked like a dominant team at the end of the year, and this year looking the same. And if you really know the season and all of the turnover for Allen and the new guys he had to throw to hold it together and be here at the end playing this well is pretty impressive.
He has established the personality that he wants, a big, strong, physical football team. Prescott into double coverage intended for Dominic Reed, but he was beautifully double covered. Tolando Cleveland and Tevez Calhoun, both corners, had him bracketed.
And for Mississippi State, we're just talking about the injuries for Arkansas. They've lost their best player. Will Redmond is out with a knee injury. So is Kendrick Market, a free safety who was the leader back there. So Arkansas taking a shot early on the Mississippi State secondary that's had its problems with injuries.
Walker and Collins now in there together. Pressure coming again. Steps up, throws over the middle, and a perfect strike to Morgan. Tell you what, Brandon Allen's looking just fine as a pocket passer.
Dan Enos, the first-year offensive coordinator and quarterback coach who took the job after being the head coach successfully at Central Michigan, said this guy has a very live arm. I didn't realize how live Allen's arm was. There's a look at Dan Enos in his first season coming down from Michigan. Must feel like Michigan to him right now. Almost freezing. But he said this guy has a really live arm, and that was terrific feet movement and almost all arm to make an accurate throw there.
Nice play fake and a wide open Morgan inside the 5. Touchdown. What a great fake by Brandon Allen, and then he threw a perfect strike, and Drew Morgan did the rest. He got his 10th receiving touchdown of the year, caught 4 passes on the drive.
Allen is just, he feels it tonight, doesn't he, Mike? I mean, he's throwing it on the run. Completely missed tackle there by Cleveland. That was a problem for Mississippi State last week against Alabama. They had a couple of missed tackles on huge plays that really flipped that game, and that time Morgan and Allen really seemed to have a nice connection going. Remember, Morgan, a guy who was probably 4th on the depth chart as a wide receiver.
That's
now
right.
He's the go-to guy.
Took advantage of those injuries to get more playing time, made it count. And the point after by Cole Hedlund. What a drive to start the game for Arkansas. Missed tackles also hurt Mississippi State on that drive. Took it straight down the field and scored against Mississippi State. The Bulldogs coming in 7-3. Arkansas with a late season surge trying to win their 7th game.
You have to keep in context how much better this offense is than it was earlier in the season. This is a team that lost to Toledo and could only score 12 against the Mud Hens. Oh, excuse me, the Rockets. Just checking the audience if they knew the Toledo history, but that's how bad things were. It was a game where they only ran for just over 100 yards. A lot of people questioning this offensive line, which is now dominant.
Ross and Holloway are deep, taken by the tight end Darian Hutchinson, and he will down it Dak Prescott, the Mississippi State quarterback, only the second man to throw for more than 8,000 yards and run for more than 2,000 in SEC history. Only Tim Tebow had done it before. Prescott has thrown for 50 touchdowns, rushed for 30 more. Only 3 players have done that. And this season, he's tossed 18 touchdown passes, only 2 picks. That ratio is the best in FBS. Give it off to Holloway, and Holloway able to turn the corner up to the 35-yard line. It's enough for a first down on the initial play from scrimmage for the Bulldogs.
Well, that looked pretty easy getting the edge there. Defensive end Jeremiah Ledbetter came down inside, and Holloway, who had a nice game in a tough outing against Alabama for the squad, but Holloway played really well last week. Gives him a burst.
Nice block by Derunya Wilson on the corner. Prescott on the throw to Wilson. He's up to the 42. Let's take a look at tonight's impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Nice to see Wilson back. Of course, parted off last week with a neck injury against Alabama, and he's a guy who's a key. To have him back in that tall outside receiver. We have already seen Holloway, and Hodge and Ellis are the 2 guys who need to hold the point in the run game, especially the run game of the quarterback.
Prescott, big kid, 6'2", 230, a very powerful runner, trying to get to the sticks.
But for Derunya Wilson, had a very scary moment at the end of the 4th quarter last week against Alabama. Wilson went to make a tackle, was laying on the field, had to be carted off, but got checked out, is fine, practiced all week. Get a report from Doc here in a moment, but good news for Mississippi State fans that Wilson is out there and healthy.
Fake to Holloway. Prescott with time underneath. Completed it to Gus Wally, his tight end, who makes his 18th catch of the year. Tolliver with another stop.
Come down to the SEC to get a quarterback shootout. 2 of the best in the history of this conference.
Absolutely.
Dan Mullen, who knows a thing or 2 about best quarterbacks in this conference. Of course, Coach Tim Tebow and Chris Leak while at Florida.
Holloway drags a tackler with him for about 3 yards. If you're on any list, best ever in the SEC, you're in great company.
Got
Prescott
both of them.
with 59, certainly doing. Matty Mock at distant 3rd among active quarterbacks.
Although Mock no longer active at Missouri.
Prescott swing, nice catch. And the run by Holloway comes out of the backfield, 38 yards, and the score.
That looked easy.
I kept waiting for somebody to make a stop, and nobody ever got over there.
Yeah, Prescott could not have thrown a better pass to lead Holloway. And Holloway, he looked like he belonged in more last week against Alabama. Here they just swing him out of the backfield, but watch the throw by Prescott on the money. Good block to the outside, and just a bad angle by the safety coming over late. Josh Liddell took a bad angle, and there Holloway walks him. That just looked too easy.
There were 2 or 3 guys that looked like they had legitimate angles on them, but 2 were blocked and 1 took a bad angle. Nice response by the Bulldogs. Mississippi State has tied it at 7 here in Fayetteville. With what's going on right now. Now you do. Arkansas on the return. Dominique Brown takes it up to about the 24-yard line. Collins, the tailback. Allen fakes the draw to him. Under some pressure up the middle. Throws incomplete. Intended for Henry, but knocked away by Kevon Coleman. Well, there was free safety.
There was no confusion there by Coleman. This was really nice read of the quarterback. Brandon Allen did a wonderful job against pressure standing in there. And Coleman comes right through the big Hunter Henry, who we've seen as a gifted receiver, and makes a nice play. Manic Diaz, the first-year defense coordinator, coming back after being away for a few years when Jeff Collins left to take the defense coordinator job at Florida. So, new defense coordinator, still kind of figuring everybody out.
Third and 12 for the Hogs. Pressure coming again. And this one kicked up in the air, still loose. Morgan had 2 shots at it, couldn't bring it in. And Morgan gets up holding his arm.
He's got something on that right arm. I noticed the big black, excuse me, sling on the right shoulder there. Sometimes that's a harness, and if you've had some shoulder problems in there. Illegal hit in the back, big hit. And Morgan getting up there just wasn't able to catch it cleanly and then boots it into the air and has to go fighting to make sure it gets to the ground. But you could see right there at the end, it looked like he maybe landed on that right elbow. Don't want to lose Morgan.
It was a kick save and a beauty. Baker kicking to Ross. Make the fair catch at the 35-yard line after a punt of 41. And Mississippi State will go back on offense for the second time. 7-7 here at Arkansas. Holloway's the running back. He'll get the carry. Been 4 guys who have been the main ball carriers for this team. They have 735 yards total on the ground this year without Prescott. There are 71 players in FBS football that have more than those 5 guys combined. So you know how much Dak Prescott is doing it on his own. Time to throw. Perfect pass on the post. Gabe Miles. 46 yards. What a throw by Prescott.
And what amazing work in the pocket. We've been talking about the improvement of Prescott in the pocket. Ryan Johnson, the second-year quarterback coach for Mississippi State, as Mississippi State's going fast, has done just a terrific job with him in the pocket.
Holloway to the outside. Spins, thrown out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
But that was as good a pocket work as you can. There was 3 reads before Prescott came all the way back to his to Gabe Miles running from the backside all the way across, and he put it right on the money. What a terrific throw.
And Miles is a very lightly used receiver. That was only his 9th catch of the entire season.
He almost dropped it, had to catch it twice.
Prescott, quarterback run all the way. Uses that power to pick up 5 to the 10-yard line. Should be enough for a first down. Kevin Richardson, one of the safeties, made the tackle.
We're talking to Rob Smith, the defensive coordinator, in his second year for Brett Bielema at Arkansas, about how you defend a guy. That was an empty backfield, so 5 offensive linemen and the quarterback, and they have an inside power run game. Just hard to get the right numbers of people around the line of scrimmage.
Just enough for a first down. Prescott, flanker screen, bobbled, net threw the timing off. Miles made the catch, but Richardson was there. That is such a timing play.
Yeah, they were thrown a little high. Ball was, that's the second time we've seen Miles not catch it clean. He was the one who caught the throw down the middle of the field earlier. Excellent job by Kevin Richardson, a guy who's just started to play a little bit more nickel, that kind of inside corner position. Did a good job reading it and making the tackle.
He beat the block and was able to make the stop. Holloway cuts it back. Holloway dives inside the 5. Holloway's only 165 pounds. He runs all the same plays. He just runs them quicker.
And this was the problem for Mississippi State last week. Inside the red zone, inside the 20, they were 0 for 3 on touchdowns. And this feels to me like a Prescott throw, maybe move him out of the pocket.
Option read, Prescott on the keeper. He'll take it himself. Touchdown. Nice block by Hutcherson, the tight end. Sealed the corner. And any kind of an opening, Prescott will take advantage.
You mentioned how much the run game goes through Prescott, and I know that they've been mixing in Holloway, but boy, when they need it, when it's time for a run and they need it, it goes to Prescott. And Hutcherson, who was lined up in the backfield, did a terrific job leading out there.
Calling number 15 is never a bad idea. The point after makes it 14-7. Another big drive, 65 yards in 7 plays. And Prescott got his 8th rushing touchdown of the season. Lucas and Brown are deep. That's Dominique Brown. We'll have a chance to bring this one back from the 7. Makes one man miss across the 25. Still on his feet, knocked out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Nice return by Dominique Brown, 33 yards. Sprinkle, the tight end in the backfield, the blocker. And straight up the middle goes Alex Collins.
He's fun to watch run. He is so energetic. They were the only team in the country with 2,000-yard rushers, returning with Collins and Jonathan Williams. Williams breaks his foot in camp. And the offense was struggling. Top 3 wide receivers down. Collins' backup was down. And the offensive line adjusted a bit. They were going a little too sideways, they thought, earlier in the year. Became more physical, second step more up the field. And it's really suited Collins' running style.
Fake draw. Pass complete to Jared Cornelius. He's down to the 22-yard line. That'll be another first down. A gain of 19. And boy, Brandon Ellis, very impressive. And Cornelius slow to get up.
Cornelius, a guy who already missed a bunch of time with a broken arm. Broke it in 2 places earlier in the year, and it looked like the defender may have landed awkwardly.
Collins. Nice job by Kevon Coleman. Got his ankles, and then Richie Brown cleaned it up. Coleman, number 3 on his team in tackles. Very active safety.
Watching Cornelius moving around, he looks okay as he comes off the field. But this is an offense that has had to deal with receivers in and out of the rotation, and we've seen Morgan, who's in there now at the top of the screen, has a what appears to be a right shoulder that's bothering him.
Fake to Collins. Pressure coming. Allen drops it off, and he got it to Collins. Great job by Brandon Allen to avoid the blitz, keep the play alive, and find the open man.
And a great job by Alex Collins, because they set this is supposed to be a screen to Collins. Watch as Allen drops back. He's looking for Collins, and because of the blitz and the blitz missed by Collins, but Collins stays in sync with his quarterback right in front of him, and Allen is playing really well. I mean, that throw to Cornelius where Cornelius got hurt,
yes,
was as good as a throw on the run as you'll see, and there's another one scrambling around with all the blitz in his face. It turned out it was not a running back screen. It was just a mixed block that he made work.
Mississippi State brought the house and lost it. Both quarterbacks already over 100 yards. Mississippi State with a 7-point lead here in Fayetteville, Arkansas, where Mississippi State is into the second quarter with a 14-7 lead. It's chilly. Duck season started this weekend.
So if you're an Oregon grad, you should stay indoors.
Yes. Some people didn't show tonight, but it is a sellout. Not much there.
Not much of a surprise, though, 1st and goal inside the 10 that Arkansas is running the ball.
No.
But that's what sets up on 2nd down is a bigger Anthony Antoine. Number 19 comes in. Sets up a nice run action pass here on 2nd and goal. I feel like it's on 1st and goal. There's somewhere in there where you're probably going to have to throw it at some point. I always feel like this is the one to look for. This is a guy at 6'5" that they've been moving around and really have liked what he's grown into.
It's about the biggest offensive line in captivity. They line up in the eye. Play action fake. Sprinkle the tight end. Jeremy Sprinkle with the touchdown. He lined up as the blocking back, worked his way out of the backfield, and Allen perfectly on target.
And because of all the big bodies that came in, including Antoine, who's listed as a tight end, that had for all the world to look to Mississippi State like it was going to be a run, and all of a sudden they do a cross action, and Sprinkle is running wide open.
Well, there's no bigger offensive line in the NFL or in the Power 5 conferences. The 5 starters average or weigh a total of 1,600 pounds. They're enormous. Two quarterbacks have already combined for 370-yard passing. Check it, 210. Prescott. Little flat pass for Aries Williams, and Williams across the 35 to about the 37. And Dak Prescott has now raised that mark to 102 touchdown passes that he is responsible for. Touchdowns, 60 passes, 39 rushes, even caught 3. Prescott with good protection and throws on the money to Fred Brown, makes his 22nd catch.
Well, that's a nice throw by Prescott.
Yes, it is.
No pressure at all for Arkansas. Arkansas up front dominated LSU last weekend on their defensive front. But right now, they're being stoned by a Mississippi State group that struggled last week against Alabama in the past game.
Prescott again gets it out to Fred Ross. And Ross, who led this club in catches coming in with 59, now has 60. What is his future? What does it look like to you?
I think he's got to get a real shot. He looks so much better in the pocket this year, does Prescott, than he did last season. I think he's got to get a shot because the game's changing. You need guys who have both abilities at the NFL level now, I think, just like it's starting to happen in college.
Ross again. I mean, he's got a Cam Newton-like body.
He is a very thick guy who runs very well. And I give a ton of credit to Brian Johnson, the second-year quarterback coach, a young guy on the rise in the coaching ranks. Played quarterback at Utah for Dan Mullen, now the quarterback coach, and you can see his influence on Prescott. But I think he's going to get a shot, Mike, and don't be surprised because he has improved so much to throw and brings that athleticism that he doesn't hang around on a team next year in the NFL.
Screen, and beautifully done, Ross. And a flag down at the end of the play. A gain of 26 and maybe more.
Another 15 yards added to this. But what a block by Elgton Jenkins.
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, number 9 on the defense, half the distance to the goal, first down.
It was just a little bit of a blank out by Ramirez. Clearly Ross was out of bounds as Ramirez comes back in to make the hit. Boy, you just gotta know where you are on the field. I want to add to it. Terrific throw. What an acceleration by Fred Ross, a guy who's having a blow-up year numbers-wise.
Shumpert makes his first appearance at running back. Then they throw over the middle, complete inside the 5-yard line to Gus Wally, the tight end. He's driven across the field and out of bounds inside the 5. Prescott goes in that direction. Throws for Ross, and a nice play by Richardson. Hesitated. And when he sort of double clutched, it allowed Richardson to close the gap.
Well, they had Ross lined up earlier in the exact same spot, but they had a different formation, and this throw was late by Prescott. If he makes that throw on time, that's a walk-in touchdown. Instead, Richardson, a guy again playing more and more at that nickel spot, was able to come over there, but that was open. Prescott just missed it. A little bit of window dressing in front of him, but he should have been able to make that throw.
Graves will come on to try the field goal. Graves is their short kicker now and knocks this one through. The stretch they had before he showed up in Starkville, they were 23 and 48. That's just awful. They were an afterthought in the SEC, and now he's made them a perennial threat. Done a brilliant job. Returned by Dominique Reed, and Reed found a seam, crosses the 30. Brandon Allen on 3rd and long. Pressure coming. Manny Diaz is just going to unload. And here is a huge hit after the incompletion. And that was Brandon Bryant.
And Brandon's got to relax. Brandon's over there. Guys flailing around the field, and Bryant kind of taunting him as he's going back. Bryant very lucky he didn't just draw a flag there.
No pressure this time. Beautiful kick. Drives Ross all the way back to the 16. Made the first wave miss. Takes it across the 20. 6-yard return after a 50-yard punt. Holloway off the right side, across midfield into Arkansas territory. And for more on Prescott, here's Doc Bunch.
Hey, when we talked to Dan Mullen about the things he likes to see in a quarterback, he said there's 4 really good things. He said physical and mental toughness, especially the mental toughness part. Leadership. He said you don't have to be loud to be a leader. Decision-making and processing, which Prescott does so well. And 4, intelligence. I think Dak Prescott scores very highly in all 4 categories, Mike.
That's why he's so good, Jerry. He really does score high in any category you want. Miles over the middle, shakes a tackle inside the 25 to the 24. Gabe Miles, gain of 24 yards.
It's interesting when Mullen read off that list of what he looks for as a quarterback, and Mullen is one of the best quarterback developers we've had in the game forever when you see what he's done in the run and pass game with quarterbacks. But Prescott is as tough as they come, and you need toughness at that position. Everyone on the team focuses on that position. If you got a tough guy, it is really important.
Prescott on the post, should have been caught, dropped by Malik Deer, and a perfect throw from Prescott.
Deer, a young man, true freshman, early enrollee that they've liked a lot, kind of a tweener between receiver and running back. He's just back from a groin injury. Didn't have his hands right. Did not look quite comfortable. Not a pure receiver. They're still just using him as kind of an athlete, but that was a pretty good throw by Prescott.
Empty backfield. Prescott guns this one and complete for a first down to Fred Brown.
This looks like Texas Tech all of a sudden for Mississippi State. I mean, they are just picking apart, and they're throwing it anywhere they want. Guys are finding holes in the zone. Prescott, he looks like Tom Brady. Let's call Rex Ryan, see if he can defend it.
He gets it out to Ross. And if you go back a couple of throws earlier, it was a great job on his part. Now they're saying the ball came loose. Arkansas claiming they have it, and the officials say no. He's made a couple of throws where he knew his receiver was going to come open, and he had the patience to wait for them because he knew the play had to develop.
It's really impressive.
Prescott play fake, throws for the end zone, touchdown. Nice throw to Fred Brown. Good catch by Brown. So they take advantage of the ruling of forward progress that negates the fumble.
But Dak Prescott, just both of these quarterbacks playing brilliantly well right now.
So Brown makes the catch. Prescott doesn't care who he throws it to. If you're open, you get it.
And a good job of officiating on the field. It clearly looked like the runner was down. The forward progress had been stopped. He'd actually been starting to push back. So I do think that that was the proper call on the field.
Cornelius from the 8 dives out to the 20. Delay to the running back Alex Collins.
You know, you go back to last week for Mississippi State defensively, and yeah, they gave up 31 points to Alabama. But when we were talking to Manny Diaz, he said, you know, we defended 58 plays, and 55 of them, it's the best we have played all year. 3 of them were as bad as we've played all year. And when I watched the film, it's hard to believe they gave up 31 as well as they played. And right now, Chris Jones, the defensive tackle, 98, he's unblockable. He's run through just about everybody on every snap.
Totally dominant player, number 98. That ball hit as he throws. Brandon Allen lucky to get away with it, and lucky it wasn't picked. A.J. Jefferson had him and forced the incompletion.
And we mentioned right at the start that Chris Jones was there as a linebacker, and that's A.J. Jefferson comes in, and then the outs of the other, Ryan Brown kind of cleans it up. But we said that Chris Jones walking around, some confusion for Arkansas, and Arkansas, who makes its name. I mean, it put the offensive linemen on the media guide, the cover of the media guide this year. They love them so much, but it's the defensive line of Mississippi State who's winning that battle.
They need an extra big cover to get them all on there. For Arkansas, it has been all or nothing. 5 drives, 3 3-and-outs, 2 long touchdown drives, 49-yard kick, and no return. And it has been a big night for quarterbacks. Prescott has only missed 3 out of 20. 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, and oh, by the way, 12 yards rushing, another score.
And we still have 6 minutes left in the second quarter.
Just a machine.
You know, we showed earlier he has 102 touchdowns responsible for in his career, which is one of the many records he has. He needs a new face mask. That is not safe. But Prescott
needs a new something.
Number 2 all-time at Mississippi State, Don Smith, has 52 touchdowns responsible for. He's going to double that. He's going to double the record for touchdowns responsible for before his career is over. And if I'm Mississippi State, I would love to see some of this clock burn off on this drive. Don't need to be in a huge rush. They play with some tempo.
This will take it up near the 40. It will be another first down.
This is an Arkansas defense that Brett Bielema knew coming back this year that they would struggle a bit early. They lost 4 players to the NFL draft: Trey Flowers, Darius Filion, Martrell Spade, a lot of really good players. And they've gotten better and better as the season has gone on, but right now they have 0 answers for Prescott in this offense.
Pump fake to the flat goes underneath to Wilson. And that 103 touchdowns with the 1 rushing tonight. He has passed Peyton Manning and Chris Leak in SEC annals. And he is up there with the best that have ever played in this conference. And that says him out.
And in talking to the coaches and everyone around Mississippi State, they're going to have a nice competition behind him in the spring. They have some really good players. Nick Fitzgerald looks awfully good, very athletic guy.
Prescott throws it. What a nice catch by Ross. Ross shakes the tackler inside the 30. Still on his feet. Ross, what a play. 55 yards. Holy cow.
Somebody call Sports Center and say that we have a top 10 play. But how about the catch, the missed tackle by Kevin Richardson in the secondary, and Ross. What a year. This is a guy who had 39 total catches in his career coming into the season. He's going to end up with probably 80. And I would say that's a top 10. Boy, that's just bad play in the secondary. Josh Lydell, the safety, misses the angle. Missed tackle by Richardson here, and Ross shows good explosion, but Arkansas just struggling in the secondary with tackling in space this evening.
For Ross, Christmas came early in the form of 2 poor tackles, and it's 31-14 Mississippi State over one of the hottest teams in all of college football. Arkansas coming in, really playing its best football. What a catch by Ross, and then what a move to get the score.
Cooper last year. I mean, there's just been unbelievable receivers in this league in the last 5 or 6 years.
Dominic Reed hoping for a chance. But he is swallowed up to 20, dives forward to the 21-yard line. Blitz coming. And they beat it. There's that big tight end again, Hunter Henry, for 17 on another perfect throw by Brandon Allen. What do the coaches say when he throws off that back foot? When he steps into it, he can be really good.
And Hunter Henry looking pretty good coming out of that cut. Remember, he had the ankle injury earlier. And, yeah, tight end, sure. No, he's a slot receiver. I mean, this guy is so gifted. I was watching him run at 6'5", 250, and he looks like a guy that's 190 pounds the way he moves. He is just... He is a gifted athlete.
Out of the eye this time, and the draw to Collins. Another post, this time to Cornelius.
Nice throw.
You know, Brandon Allen, you mentioned the fact that a lot of people had given him grief much earlier in his career, not being able to close out games, and this young man had his truck egged after one game. Then he had it set afire after another game.
Back in 2014, it's been a rough go for him when things haven't gone well, but he has hung in there, and the coaches talk a lot about how much confidence he has. He didn't lose his confidence, and how hard he worked to get some of those young receivers with all those injuries early in the year to get them all on the same page.
Now he is projected as a mid-round draft choice. Somebody very likely to give him an opportunity to play on Sunday.
Terrific job there to pick up what he had. Now the clock's starting to become an issue. And that would have taken a good timeout there by Brett Bielema, because I think that would have probably taken 20 to 30 seconds to get everyone back, because you had called a long pass play and then the guy takes off and runs, so everyone would have had to come back to the huddle. Good timeout. You have to be thinking 7 here if you're Arkansas. You have not slowed down Mississippi State once on offense, so this has got to be a 7-point trip.
Time to throw. They find the middle again, and it's Hunter Henry.
Watch. Now the clock stops because they're moving the chains, but let's see how quickly it gets reset and see if they lose any time here. Now out with just that one timeout left. You'd like to save that if at all possible.
Allen, smart play, just gets rid of it.
Remember that timeout that Brett Bielema was going to use to challenge that fumble, and then the official said it was not a challengeable call, so was able to keep one. But in a situation like this, still have plenty of time. But here's what you don't want to do if you're Arkansas, because you've got to be thinking touchdowns. You don't want to waste too much time, because it may come down to not having enough plays to try to throw it in the end zone if you have to. So you do have to mind the clock a bit here.
2nd and 10. Brandon Allen to throw. Pressure. The pocket was collapsing. Made the throw to Drew Morgan, and Morgan, working with that bum shoulder, makes his 6th catch of the first half. That gives him 51 for the year.
And because you're thinking of 7 here, this is a down and distance I think you may want to go for. Throw something into the end zone. You can always come back and go for it on 4th down. Be shocked.
Well, with 58 on the clock, you can even run for it.
Yeah. But this might be a chance to take a little shot at. Won't be shocked if they kick a field goal, cuts it to 14 instead of 17, but boy, it feels like you need 7 in this game, the way Mississippi State's rolling.
Set up with a power formation. Fake it to Collins. It's exactly what they wanted to do. To Cornelius. Touchdown. Nice call, Mr. Cunningham.
I didn't make it. Dan Enos did.
Pull everybody in, fake the run, make the throw, and why not? Brandon Allen just right on target.
And that's also feeling what your team is doing today. Obviously, you're not playing a whole lot of defense. So let's see what we've got. We've got a quarterback. Their quarterback's hot. Our quarterback's playing well. Nice job. Good low throw. Just put it down and away when you're in the end zone. And see if Dak Prescott can answer. He's got 52 seconds and 2 timeouts, so don't think Mississippi State's going to come out and reel out.
Hedlund, who has been perfect on point afters this year, knocks that one through. At the half, the score, Mississippi State 31, Arkansas 20. Now let's send you to Adnan Verk in the Buick halftime report.
Coach, an offense that struggled to get in the end zone last week's put up 31 points and over 350 yards in the first half. What do you like most about what you're seeing?
Well, we're executing. You know, that's a big part. We came in and said, hey, we just got to execute our offense, and if we do that at a high level, we're going to be able to move the ball. We think we can move the ball on almost anybody if we execute, and we did tonight.
Defensively, you've shut down the potent Arkansas running attack. What's been the key there?
Well, we're playing physical, but they've thrown, I think, a bunch of yards against us right there. We got to be a lot better in the pass game, and they're really throwing a lot of yards on us, making some big plays. We got to tighten up that pass defense.
Hey, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Great first half for quarterbacks, particularly Dak Prescott here in Fayetteville. 31-21, Mississippi State with the lead. Prescott was, well, we know how much, what a great player he is and how much we love him. He was just brilliant.
He's thrown for over 300 yards in the first half. I mean, he's got a 400-yard game in his career last week against Georgia Tech. But Arkansas has got to get pressure. They haven't brought a lot of blitzes. The problem being when you blitz, he's good enough to run by you. So we'll see how they change up their defense. But Prescott gets the ball back. And I want to clarify, Steve Shaw of the SEC, the head of officials, called us at halftime. If Prescott had been called for grounding there at the end of the half, because it was a loss of down play, they would not have replayed it down in that half. So for Arkansas fans a little upset that wasn't called, it still would have ended the half had it been called.
Ball's loose. Holloway hit, lost it, and it's recovered by Mississippi. Who's got it? Arkansas. Holloway drilled and coughed it up.
Well, Holloway has been such a spark for this team. He gets sandwiched in the middle there. It looked like number 45, Josh Harris, a linebacker. And it was another guy coming from behind. But Holloway, who's been such a spark with a huge turnover. I mean, this game had so much momentum going Mississippi State's way. Arkansas had a wonderful answer at the end of the half, or near the end of the half, on offense, and now they get a big special teams turnover.
Razorbacks with a chance to get right back in it. Collins is the deep man in the eye. Sprinkle, the tight end, is his blocking back. Draw play and nothing. Collins upended in the backfield, taken down by Kevon Coleman. The safety was coming up fast.
Well, Coleman is a safety right near the line of scrimmage, and he's unaccounted for. He's coming from depth. Sprinkle, who's the tight end in there, had to go up to the linebacker, but Coleman in that safety spot up around the line of scrimmage. Now let's see if Dan Enos tries to draw the safeties close and throw it over their head this time.
It was one guy to block two blitzers. Brandon Allen straight back. Blitz coming again. Allen steps up in the pocket, throws for the end zone. Too high for Drew Morgan. Well, you got to admire Morgan. He's just playing on guts.
Well, and that's his right arm that he would have had to have extended. It's that shoulder that we know has been bothering him. As Doc Punch reported, it's a shoulder problem that's bothered him since he was in high school. But that ball thrown, just not able to get pretty good coverage there by Calhoun.
Yes, it was.
It was the pressure on Allen that made him throw it inaccurately. Morgan had half a step.
6 catches, 71 yards on the night. Big third down here. They need to take advantage of this turnover. And they will. They got it to the sideline to Hunter Henry, the #1 pass receiving tight end in this conference.
Henry, a guy who was rolled up earlier, helped off the field with an ankle injury, able to come back looking better than he did when he first came back. Excellent protection up front for Arkansas, allowed Henry to come all the way across the formation, and another accurate, timely throw by Allen. And that was a big third down after that turnover. You don't convert that, you're attempting a 40-plus yard field goal, which is no gimmick.
Yeah, we talked about Prescott, but Brandon Allen has been very impressive. And to the end zone, it's a touchdown. Sprinkle, the other tight end, gets his 3rd touchdown catch of the year. So you've got Hunter Henry at 6'5", 253 on one end, and Sprinkle at 6'6", 255 on the other. Those are pretty good bookends.
And they crossed them. They had Hunter Henry to the left. They had Sprinkle to the right. Both the guys crossed. And because the action was over to the right and everyone was thinking that's where Allen was going to throw, Sprinkle slips out and Allen gets a fancy handshake at the end of the deal.
Sprinkle had 2 touchdown catches coming in, has 2 more tonight. And the touchdowns, or the tight ends combined, Henry and Sprinkle, 7 for 70 tonight.
And all of a sudden, with a turnover and a good score at the end of the half, about to cut it to 3.
And they do. 12 minutes to go, third quarter. We have a 3-point game from Arkansas. 31-28 as Austin Allen completes another big pass for a touchdown. Fayetteville, Arkansas, 31-28. Bulldogs over the Hogs. And still early third quarter. Both quarterbacks defying the cold weather and throwing the ball beautifully.
Holloway back to receive another kick after his fumble on the last return.
And he'll have a chance to redeem himself from the 12. Tripped up as he got to the 30. Prescott, ball tipped in the air, intercepted. On the tip drill, Kevin Richardson, who's had a couple of missed tackles tonight, had the ball come off of Darunya Wilson. He stayed with it and made the pick.
And remember earlier, Richardson had a interception in his hands on one of the rare bad throws tonight by Prescott. That ball just right through the hands of Wilson. Good throw, hands are up, just missed it. And Richardson comes from the safety position, the nickelback position. He's been playing more and more and makes the interception, one that he missed earlier. So I said earlier he was going to have nightmares about dropping the interception earlier. Well, now he'll have sweet dreams about that one, so it'll negate the nightmares potentially.
Big break for Arkansas. They take over 1st and 10 to Mississippi State 39. Play action fake. Allen, touchdown. Perfect strike to Henry, the tight end. 39 yards, he beat Kevon Coleman. Allen hung in there with pressure in his face.
We mentioned a couple times Henry, a guy who hurt his ankle earlier. Coleman right on the spot. And as he goes down, Coleman came up like he didn't catch it. Well, it's because the ball just came out right there at the end. That's a heck of a catch with Coleman draped on that inside arm. Is this guy Hunter Henry pretty special or what?
He is terrific. What a future he has. The turnover is the difference. First the interception, and then the bomb from Brandon Allen to big Hunter Henry. And Arkansas scored 3 touchdowns in the last 4:03 to get the lead. Ed, if you had to guess, where would you say that we're dining?
Well, because it said it on the door on the opening shot, I'd go with Hugo's.
We give you the hard ones. Hugo's Restaurant in the historic Fayetteville Square. You might want to try, we are told, the beer cheese soup and the grasshopper crepes. You can have my share.
Yeah. And you order them apparently by wiggling your fingers in the air.
Holloway on another return as Arkansas has just caught fire, and we go to Jerry.
Talked to Brett Bielema coming out at halftime. He said he delivered a couple of messages in the locker room. One on offense, got to execute. He said he just basically challenged his guys to execute. I think 14 points in 3 minutes, they accepted the challenge. Defensively, he said, we got to get in Prescott's face. He said, we had a good series, the final one in the first half. We got to come off the edges, get some pressure, come around behind him, and swat the football away to get some turnovers. We'll see what they can do with pass rush here.
And Jerry, certainly they have given him the time here to build this program in the image he wants, and he is really doing the job with it.
Well, you put in context, when Bielema took over, this place was just a disaster. After Bobby Petrino was fired, John L. Smith took over for that year, and the wheels have just come off. And it'd be, if they win this game, Arkansas would have won 7 of their last 10 SEC games.
Shumpert straight up the middle, and certainly it couldn't have got any lower or any worse in the way Bobby Petrino left.
And if Arkansas wins 7 of the last 10 SEC games, the last 26 SEC games was how long it had taken to win 7 games in conference before that. So quite a turn.
Prescott straight ahead.
Well, you can see that Dan Mullen right now feeling pretty good about the inside run game with his quarterback. I think this is the third play on this drive where he's run right up the middle. That was about the same setup as the 3rd and 1 where you fake the handoff to Fred Ross, who was in motion, and run right up the middle.
Used a lot of personnel. Bring Malik Deer, number 22, in. Put him in the slot. Deer will come in motion. Prescott had it knocked away. Arkansas picks the ball up. It's loose again. Arkansas recovers again, and now they're going to whistle the play dead at the 40. Dietrich Wise came in, knocked it out of the arms of Prescott, and Tywan Johnson looked like the man who made the recovery and the return run.
Well, Brett Bielema told Doc Punch, hey, we need to get behind him and try to get some strips. What an excellent job by Wise. Make sure that that was not a forward pass. Oh, that's close. We saw Allen earlier get called. It looked like maybe a fumble. That ball looks like it's out before the hand starts coming forward. This is a shocking. It's almost hard to put into words how much better Mississippi State was until 4 minutes left in the first half.
Yes.
And
two different games, actually.
And all of a sudden, it's completely flipped.
Allen and the Razorbacks have been the beneficiary. Walker's the tailback, all 256 pounds of him. And he'll get the carry straight ahead. He's not just a bruiser. He's got some avoidability.
He stepped up when Jonathan Williams, who was one of the 2 returning 1,000-yard rushers from last season, was injured during camp. Then he ended up breaking his hand and had to wear a cast. Came back for the Auburn quadruple overtime game and was luckily able to play because a true freshman running back Raleigh Williams, who was starting to play really well, injured his neck and was out.
He had to have surgery. He'll be gone for the year. Play action fake by Allen. Spins it out to the tight end Sprinkle. He lost the ball, but it was out of bounds. He was drilled by Cleveland, who took his life in his own hands going after the huge tight end.
Yeah. Between Sprinkle and Hunter Henry. And Sprinkle lucky he was over near the sideline and that ball popped out. But between these two guys, I'm not sure which one's more impressive looking. Just smooth, 10 catches, 132 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Sprinkle. I know that Hunter Henry's, both of them, combined, both tight ends now with 3 touchdowns. Pretty impressive group.
Walker made the first man miss, but was only able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Beniquez Brown made the stop.
For Arkansas, they must be feeling pretty good about themselves. Get a little run game going, start melting that clock. Start wearing down the Mississippi State defense, a front that had been very hard for Arkansas to handle early in the game, now starting to get the sting taken out of them a little bit. So the big guys up front able to slow them down a little more for Arkansas.
And that's what, if you average around 325, 330 pounds apiece, that's what the wearing down process entails. And Sprinkle lost it again, but the ball gets out of bounds. And the hit was by Tevez Calhoun. By the way, Calhoun already graduated better than a 3.5 grade point average, and he is a candidate for the Campbell Trophy, which is the academic Heisman. Working on his master's right now.
Was the star of the game in 2013 against Arkansas. Made an interception to end the game 2 years in a row. Last year and the year before, Calhoun made an interception to end the game in 13 against Arkansas. And it was Will Redmond who made an interception at the end of the game last year to preserve the win.
Allen rifles the pass to the goal line. Touchdown, Hunter Henry. How did he get that one in there? Perfect throw. Boy, Brandon Allen putting on a show.
He fired that one, didn't he? And Hunter Henry going down. He's just so smooth when he runs. And the safety read it. Came right over the top. Brandon Bryant had a beat on this ball. And Hunter Henry does a terrific job turning. He's right on the goal line. And that is 4 touchdown catches from the tight end position for Arkansas today.
Including the last 3 completions to tight ends, 4 touchdowns.
This is mind-blowing what has just happened since 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second quarter.
Well, somebody flipped a switch and the game turned on its ear. Junior tight ends Hunter Henry and Jeremy Sprinkle leading this comeback along with their connection at quarterback, Brandon Allen. And it has been a complete team show here in the third quarter for the Razorbacks. Malik Deer on the return, out near the 30.
28 unanswered points for Arkansas.
Prescott wanting to get something started on offense, hands it off to Brandon Holloway, and the 165-pounder scoots for about 9.
And even though it was incomplete, I still think it was the right decision to go for it there on 4th down, and frankly don't mind the call, trying to get one there on the play action. That's something Arkansas has been setting up the whole game.
They would have made it a 3-score lead if they had converted on it. Prescott got the first down.
You know, you were mentioning that he's one of only 2 players in SEC history to run for over 2,000 and throw for over 8,000,
yes,
joining Tim Tebow. There's only 12 guys on that list in college football.
This was a great stat you came up with yesterday.
And the 12 guys on the list of quarterbacks who've thrown for over 8,000 and run for over 2,000. There's 12 of them on the list. The first was Brad Smith at Missouri in 2002.
It's when the game changed.
It's just, and really you give Gary Pinkel, who is, of course, stepping down after a wonderful tenure at Missouri, to tend to his health. We wish him the best, but give them a lot of credit. They have a wonderful quarterback at Brad Smith that kind of opened things up. They were in the Big 12, but now the run-throw quarterback is here to stay.
Prescott drills this one. Ross, nice catch at the 35.
Easy, guys, getting a little chippy out there. Don't want to get up and get a 15-yard penalty after making a wonderful play. That's a nice throw by Prescott. You hear the back shoulder throw. That's exactly what that is. Thrown behind him to his backside shoulder. Ross gets his eyes and body around, makes a nice catch.
Holloway straight ahead to about the 32-yard line.
It's a nice drive for Mississippi
Yes.
State. They get the stop on 4th down, played really good defense on that run action pass, and all of a sudden they're finally starting to get something going.
And they're only down by 11 on the road here in Fayetteville. Welcome back to Fayetteville, Arkansas on a cold Saturday evening. And Arkansas now hanging on to an 11-point lead as Mississippi State is driving. Shumpert the tailback. They fake it to him and Prescott to throw. Throws on the run and completes it near the 20-yard line. It'll be enough for a first down, and Darunya Wilson made the grab.
There's Cornelius coming back. He had the cramp, as Dr. Punch mentioned, in that hamstring. Seems to be moving a little bit better. Let's hope he's okay. Excellent job by Prescott getting out of the way of Dietrich Weiss there, extending the play.
Prescott keeps again, just tripped up, dives inside the 2. For example, Brooks Ellis, the middle linebacker, only outweighs him by 10 pounds. Dwayne Eugene and Dre Greenlaw are outweighed by the quarterback.
This is where he likes to run. So if you're a linebacker, you've got to be able to get to him and get to him fast. The defensive line needs a little bit of penetration to make him slow down.
Quarterback keeper again. Stuck the ball out. Are they going to give him the call? Yes, touchdown.
And you mentioned Brooks Ellis, the middle linebacker. He was there, didn't quite have a great angle. Prescott doing a really nice job of laying that ball out.
Where's that right knee?
Well, that's the offensive lineman's knee that we see going down. So it's the knee of Prescott is behind that knee, parallel to the ground, so he's on top of the legs. It looked for a moment like that was his knee, but I noticed the size was a little bigger. It looked like an offensive lineman, and sure enough it was.
He can almost qualify for that. Just to make it a 4-point game.
Little surprised not going for 2, down 11. It's early in the 4th. You think you're going to score more. You don't have to go for 2 there. That is not an error on the card because it's early in the 4th. And it was Prescott who looked like he was going to be the one carrying the banner to the finish line tonight. They were up 31-14 with 4 minutes to go in the first half, and it has just flipped.
And they'll take a knee. Alex Collins, the tailback. Hitting the backfield and taken down.
A little bit more.
Middle linebacker Richie Brown.
How about some of that energy back for that defense for Mississippi State? They had their backs against the wall. 3 straight turnovers to start the half. And Collins a little banged up. To be holding that left arm.
Injuries have been a big factor in Arkansas' season. Lost so much at the skill positions to begin the year.
At one point, their top 3 wide receivers and 2 of their top 3 running backs were no longer healthy and able to play.
Tremendous resilience. Pass underneath, not for much by the big tight end Jeremy Sprinkle, and Beniquez Brown, the number 2 tackle, is up right there to take him down after his 5th catch of the night.
And this feels like a big 3rd down right now for Arkansas. 3rd and long. Mississippi State has been blitzing pretty relentlessly from this down and distance. So what do you have that you can get the ball out quickly and still give it a chance? Because Mississippi State looked awfully good on their last drive offensively. Got some of that momentum back.
They're 8 out of 12 on 3rd down. Every possession becomes more important now that we're in the 4th quarter. Allen under pressure. Tipped and almost intercepted. Cleveland had a shot at it off the tip by A.J. Jefferson. 3 and out.
Jefferson and Chris Jones have played so well tonight. They were playing a bunch of man coverage, and and that ball was off because of the pressure. Allen was running for his life because of Jones and Jefferson. The play was open there for a moment. Nice to see Cornelius back for Arkansas after the cramps.
The first Arkansas punt since the middle of the 2nd quarter. Fair catch made at the 32, a 41-yard kick. Well, Dak Prescott, 83% of the offense tonight. Him alone, 406 yards on the evening. Told you that Dak Prescott had accounted for 70% of the team's offense. Tonight being even more hoggish, if you will, at Arkansas, 83%. Sets and throws underneath. Another strike to Derunya Wilson.
And as Arkansas continues trying to get some type of pass rush, we've seen Dietrich Weiss. I failed to mention earlier in the game, they lost Mitchell Lowen. Arkansas did last week. The guy kind of bounced around a bunch of positions and had really found a spot in the pass rush department for Arkansas. He had foot surgery this week after he hurt it against LSU, so he's a big loss late in a game like this.
Prescott throwing behind Hutcherson. He said he caught it, and the official agreed. Pass was low and behind him. Nice catch.
Well, Hutcherson not wanting the other two tall big tight ends to take all of the accolades. At 6'7", 260, makes a nice catch off the grass. Fake grass, I should say.
Prescott throws on the run. Completes it to Fred Brown. Almost put that knee down.
Well, they said he did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Good try. Brown, just a junior, so in a couple of years, maybe in the NFL, he could keep running with that.
Holloway lowers his shoulder. About 1.5 yards shy of a first down. They must reach the 11.
This is what they have in memory of Keith Joseph Jr. He and his father, Keith Joseph Sr., who was a terrific player at Mississippi State, would be missed. But you give Dan Mullen and his staff a lot of credit, and these young men, for hanging in there. And in a game that felt like on the road could have gotten away, and all of a sudden, they're right in it.
3rd and a yard. Prescott gives it off. They want to throw. They're looking back toward Prescott. He's wide open. And broken up by Richardson. What a play. He never quit on it. Richardson just kept running as hard as he could till he got to Prescott, and they took so long to throw this ball.
This was wide open. I'm not sure that Gabe Miles could get a handle on the ball because Prescott is wide open. Just held it. It was that one hold for and Richardson. You do not have to turn and look at the ball. There is no face guarding in college football, but 4th down, going for it. Watch for the run by Prescott. If you'd have gone for 2 before, you'd kick the field goal here if you're Mississippi State. But here, down 4, having to go for it on 4th down.
Prescott all the way. And he's got the first down at the 10.
I'm not so sure if Arkansas shouldn't have taken a timeout there. You know, that you a little surprised after the incomplete pass, probably, that they're going for it. They looked like there was a little bit of confusion, but they have not been able to stop the inside quarterback run one time on short yardage. Maybe had to put a slant in, some type of defensive tackle movement. But that time, just walked over the 1 yard.
4-man rush. He's got time underneath to Wilson. Touchdown. De'Runnya Wilson came into this game number 2 in the Southeastern Conference in receiving touchdowns. Had 8 on the season. And he has been a favorite target of Prescott tonight.
Well, he just spun Andre Tolliver around. Not very tight coverage that time, but a good throw by Prescott. And now, because Mississippi State kicked the extra point instead of going for 2 down 11, if they'd have missed that, they would need to go for 2 here. And holy cow, that is a big PAT miss.
Off the post. It did not kick through the goalposts. They are up by only 2, but they do have the lead because Dak Prescott led them downfield again, got almost all the yardage accounted for on that drive.
But we'll see. That was they won with their backup quarterback at Ohio State.
Pretty remarkable stuff. And a big mistake on special teams. Kicked it out of bounds. That'll give him possession to start at the 35. Arkansas trying to come right back, and they've got a shot on the bomb down to the 12-yard line. Perfect throw to Dominic Reed from Brandon Allen, 52. So they come out on first down, say the heck with it, let's go get it.
Well, Allen saw this right from the start that Reed had half a step. Cleveland pointing, hoping that he's got a safety coming to help, but the safety was never there. Allen was loading this right from the start, and you see the difference that Reed makes. The junior college transfer, first-year player, finally figured out the playbook all of those injuries, and Brett Bielema says he changes us a little bit because he can flat run by guys, and he did that there.
It was his 4th catch over 50 yards this year. Collins. They're already within field goal territory to recapture the lead. The clock running 6:12 and counting.
And you go back to that decision by Dan Mullen not to go for 2 when they scored when they were down 11, just to cut it to 4. The thinking being if we score again, then the extra point puts us up 3, and that's exactly what happened, except they doinked to the extra point off the upright, and so now instead of being up 3, just up 2.
If you're making a decision down here, if it comes to that, you really can't afford to go for field goals. Give the ball back to the other team.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like either offense is going to stop, does it?
No. Play action fake. Throw to the end zone. Wide open. Jeremy Sprinkle. How does Sprinkle get that wide open? He has been a factor all night long, along with the other tight end, Hunter Henry.
Because he's such a little guy, he's hard to see.
Could block out the sun.
Almost 6'7". He lined up as a fullback right there and just slips out, and nobody is there.
Jeez.
Yeah, and now because you're up 4, you go for 2. So at the very least, you require Mississippi State to kick the extra point, which we've already seen was a problem.
Can be a factor.
Not shocked. You know, Dr. Punch did his report at the beginning of the game, the exciting finishes the last 2 years, both games ending the last 2 years on interceptions by Mississippi State. So not shocked that we've got a barn burner here.
Brandon Allen, as we go double reverse, and they're going to throw it to Allen, and he got it. Cornelius throws the pass. Why not? Brandon Allen makes the catch for a 2-point conversion. It's 50-44. So Brandon Allen, all he's done is throw 7 touchdown passes and then catch a 2-point conversion. Nice night. Brandon Allen.
Single game record at Arkansas for touchdowns as well. Broke the tie that he had with 6 touchdowns earlier in the year against Ole Miss.
And we still have 5 minutes and 33 seconds left to go in the game. And Deere is buried at the 18-yard line. Time is becoming a factor as we hit the 5-minute mark. 4-man rush. Prescott over the middle. Wilson shakes the tackle, gets out to the 36.
And
10 catches for De'Runnya Wilson.
And I think if you're Mississippi State, I think you're thinking about 4 downs all the way down the field here. I don't know that you're going to want to give this ball back. Even though Arkansas has not run the ball very much, they've been throwing it. They do have the ability with the biggest offensive line in college football to pound you. And Collins at 210 pounds. I don't think you want to give this ball back with your defense in the 4th quarter. Probably a little tired.
Underneath, Holloway bobbled it, nearly had it picked off, got it back, and now Holloway breaks free. Using all that speed inside the 20-yard line. Remember, they need the touchdown, down by 6. That was a gain of 46 yards, and Prescott is racking up numbers as well.
And just missed tackles for Arkansas on Holloway specifically tonight. That time they had him for about an 8-yard gain, and Holloway nearly takes it to the house after the missed tackle.
Holloway again to the 19.
You know,
this is unbelievable.
Excellent throw. And Richardson goes for the play earlier, and 3 guys just overrun Holloway as he cuts back to the middle. Richardson went for the pick, didn't get it, and then 3 guys missed the tackle.
Really poor pursuit. Prescott throws underneath. It's his tight end Hutcherson. They need to get inside just shy of the 9 for a first down.
Boy, if you had your druthers here in your Mississippi State, you'd love to eat more of this clock off. Obviously, the focus on the score.
Wouldn't you want to score with that 1 second left?
Yeah, but you don't have quite that control if you're Dan Mullen. But yeah, you're obviously 4 downs here, so don't be surprised if they maybe try to throw one in the end zone.
They come with a blitz. He throws underneath to Ross. Touchdown. They gambled on the blitz, didn't get there, and when I mentioned there were guys in the middle of the field to spy on him, they all came on the blitz, left it wide open, and Ross filled the vacuum.
Yeah, the call there by Rob Smith, the defensive coordinator, was to bring those linebackers instead of drop them out. So as they got up there, Josh Liddell was left one-on-one on Ross and was not able to make a play.
I know you got to score when you can score, but that's really early.
You got to make the point, too.
Point after they have the lead, but there's 3:05 left.
Yeah, if you're a Mississippi State fan, that was a good PAT. But here come those linebackers, and they're the ones who voided that area, and what a terrific read. And for Brandon Allen, another shot to have the ball in his hands with down in the game. Earlier in the year against Toledo, Allen was not able to convert at the end of the game. Last year, the last 2 years against Mississippi State, his last throw has been an interception to end the game. So think of all of the things that Brandon Allen, with the struggles earlier in the year, couldn't close out the Texas A&M game when he had the ball. Let's see if Brandon Allen has the magic for one last shot of senior year.
How about this? If you combine the two quarterbacks, 63 of 88 for 844 yards and 12 touchdowns. I didn't know we were doing a game in the Big 12.
Feels like more like the Mountain West.
Yeah, true.
But what a neat opportunity here for Brandon Allen after all of those offensive struggles. Missed some red zone throws earlier in the season he wanted back, but he had no receivers. And here's a guy in Allen who has a really rough history against Mississippi State with 2 interceptions to end the last 2 games.
Dominique Allen buried inside the 10. Nice job by Jamal Peters to get downfield and make the stop. So here's the story for Arkansas. A field goal would win it. They're 90 yards from the goal line. Allen out of his own end zone.
Just
on the money to Cornelius.
Well, and Chris Jones just blew up. Chris Jones has just had a monster game in the middle at defensive tackle. He blows up the offensive line, but the running back makes the pickup, and then the secondary of Mississippi State loses Jared Cornelius.
I mean, there have been some guys that just wide open tonight.
It's the way offenses stress you now, sideline to sideline and vertically. It is so hard to hold up for that long.
Allen steps up, throws underneath. Hunter Henry knocked out of bounds near the 45. Now 369 yards passing for Brandon Allen.
Clock running, 2 timeouts. You've still got plenty of time. You don't need to worry too much, but you don't want to burn a bunch of clock.
Blitz coming. Allen hangs in there as long as he needed. And the catch made by Morgan.
What a gutty.
Fit that in there somehow. And he showed a lot of courage on both ends. He just hung in there all the time.
And he's still just favoring that right arm. Well, Dr. Punch mentioned earlier he's had a shoulder problem since high school, and Allen just does an excellent job shuffling up, delivers a strike, and there's a guy with a bum right arm doing everything he can to keep that right arm out of the play.
Somehow got it away from Calhoun. Clock is running. If they reach the 25, they'd have a reasonable shot at a field goal if that's the way they want to go.
And where they are with field goal kickers for Arkansas, Adam McFain, the starting kicker from last year, had a pulled muscle. He's back and able to kick the longer field goals. So if they're outside the about 23-yard line, it'll be McFain that goes. Otherwise, it'd be Cole Hedlund, who's been the regular kicker. Unfortunately, though, for Hedlund, he's had some troubles with longer kicks. He had a 47-yard field goal that Hedlund blocked against Ole Miss that would have won the game instead of going to overtime early in the year. So it'll be interesting to see if it's McFain or Hedlund for the field goal attempt.
Be a heck of a first try, wouldn't it?
Sure would.
Pressure coming. Allen. Got that one through down to the 20. Another strike to Cornelius.
And now the question becomes, if you're Arkansas, I think you want to maybe milk some clock and think about a field goal here. I don't think you want to press this. What a catch by Cornelius. Holy cow. Came back. There's two guys around there. Reaches back and makes the catch. But I think now, and I think this would be Hedlund, the short field goal kicker. He's 7 for 9 inside 40 this year.
Well, they're both going to get ready.
Yeah, but I don't think you want to be doing too much here.
The big tailback Cody Walker.
I even worry about handing the ball off at this point if I'm Arkansas. And if Mississippi State needs to start thinking about a timeout, and they took one. Good job by Dan Mullen.
Brandon Allen has had an incredible night already. 500 or 406 yards passing, 7 touchdowns. He has taken the school career record, but the game is still on the line for him right here as Cody Walker burrows ahead. And another timeout from Mississippi State. 53 seconds to go. So barring a first down, Dan Mullen trying to ensure that he at least gets the ball back with maybe 35, 40 seconds left. Collins will get the carry. Nowhere to go. Fighting for what he can get down to the 12-yard line. Another timeout will bring up a 4th and 3. So they are very satisfied with going for the field goal. 46 seconds on the clock. Field goal play usually takes about 4 seconds. So there will be time for Arkansas. Boy. This is Cole Hedlund. 8 out of 12.
Better
this
from
is well within his range.
Yeah, better from inside 40. He's 7 for 9 on the year inside 40. He did have a field goal blocked at the end of regulation against Ole Miss that would have won the game, sent it to overtime, and of course Arkansas won. An incredible 4th and 25 lateral play that kept it alive, and a blocked field goal would seal the game for Mississippi State.
Will be a 29-yard try to get the lead for the Razorbacks. Good snap, good hold. Tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it's no good. Looked like he kicked it too low, and some penetration up the middle.
And Mississippi State completely blew up the middle of the line for Arkansas. I think it may have been a low kick, but Mississippi State has been playing so well on their defensive front tonight at times, and they just blew up the middle of the line. Good snap, good hold. Oh, went right inside. That's just a beat at the line of scrimmage.
Beniquez
Brown beats the wing and comes to the inside. Don't put that on the kicker, Hedlund. That was a whiff on the outside, and what an incredible win for Mississippi State and a heartbreaker for Arkansas.
As a blocker on kick protection, you cannot let anybody go inside you. And what a great win for them on the road, and a devastating loss for the Razorbacks. They took it down to relatively easy field goal territory, but the protection broke down, and the kick never had a chance.
And for Dan Mullen and his group, after a physical loss to Alabama and a loss of a teammate in Keith Joseph Jr., what an emotional win for them.
That's it. 51-50. Mississippi State over Arkansas. Fred Cunningham, Dr. Jerry Punch, and our entire crew. This is Mike Patrick. So long from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Now we send you out west to the Bay Area for California and number 11 Stanford. Good night, everybody.